Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. So my plan for today is to finally replace my lemon coral sedum walkway. We had a horrible heat wave back in September, and most of my lemon coral sedum that I have growing on either side of my walkway up to my front door died. And lemon coral sedum is actually a perennial in my zone. It's a perennial in zones 7 through 11. So technically it should have survived. However, what I think happened is I think that the lemon coral sedum had kind of migrated and grown over to the walkway, so it wasn't getting as much water as it needed, especially when we had, 117 degrees for 10 days at a time. It was bad. I'm exaggerating, but it was really bad. It was about 110 for 10 days at a time, which is horrible. So I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to get my hands on any more of this lemon coral sedum. But one of you, Jane, if I'm saying that right, told me, look at Home Depot and see if they have them. And they did. So I ended up getting 24 of these guys. That's not enough to totally replace the whole walkway, but it's going to get me pretty far, which I'm excited about. I have been going back and forth on whether I like using this lemon coral sedum on my walkway, simply because it does bloom for me. So this plant is known for its foliage. It has this gorgeous, soft, petable chartreuse foliage that goes about 3 to 10 inches tall. I think it's 10 to 14 inches wide. And if you're lucky, they say on the website, if you're lucky, it will bloom in the spring. Well, I'm lucky. It blooms in the spring, but I don't like the blooms. They're this yellow color, and I'm just not a huge fan of them. So I've kind of been going back and forth this year on whether I'm going to take these lemon coral sedums out and replace it with something else. But as soon as it's not blooming, I just love the foliage color. The chartreuse, the bright pop, is kind of like a runway, like it lights up a runway up to my front door. I'll show you guys in a second. And I love it. I took it out after it all died from the heat wave, and I'm totally missing it. So I'm excited to get it in. I want to get it in. I love this guy. If you are not in zone 7 and above, you can obviously use this as an annual. It was proven winner's annual of the year a couple years ago, and I definitely think it deserves that award because I do think that it's one of the best plants that Proven Winners sells. It is a Sedum mexicanum, if I'm saying that right. So for a while, I thought it was the same thing as an Angelina sedum, but it's not. It's totally different. And so I think it's just kind of a more compact color, a little bit different of, more compact plant, a little bit different of a color. I just love this plant. I love it so much. I want to put it more places in my garden because it's just such low maintenance and I don't have to worry about it. They say it's average water needs, but it can handle drought tolerant situations, but they do say keep it watered to keep it looking fresh. And I always put drip to mine, and then obviously, the heat wave, it was just too much for it. So it does need some water, especially if you live in really hot areas like I do. But I just think it's overall a really great plant. And they do say it is deer resistant if you deal with that. So let me show you the walkway that I'm talking about and where I'm going to put the plants. Here is the walkway in question. I was just standing right up there where the rest of the lemon coral sedum are. You can see down here, I have already replaced these. I replaced these before the heat wave, about a month before the heat wave, and they handled it absolutely perfectly. I think they actually really liked the heat because they've bulked up and they've kind of doubled in size. So these are new and they're looking really good. Over here, these are old. These are from the original planting, and they are all mixed with the lamium, and then you can see my cyclamen right here. That's the pops of pink. They're all kind of mixed here. And this is another thing that I kind of been going back and forth. Like, do I want it more structured or do I like it more mixed like this? And I think I like it more mixed. So I think I'm going to leave it like this. At least that's for now. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you know I keep going back and forth. So who knows? So I'm going to plant them all the way up here. This is my Super Bean whiteout that's not totally in bloom right now, but that's my fault because I've been slacking on fertilizing. and then skipping the pathway and then coming all the way up to here. And then what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to stop right at this divider right here in the walkway, this piece of wood. When I had them planted before, I had them planted all the way up to here, but this area right here is basically full shade. And lemon coral sedum is rated part sun to full sun. Technically it can handle shade, but it does get pretty leggy, and I didn't like how leggy it got right here. I just didn't like how it looked. So I think I'm going to stop it here and then put something else as a ground cover right there. Maybe some more lamium or something like that. And then coming across this way, I'm going to get started the rest of the walkway over here, all the way down to my foxtail ferns right there. So I love that look. I think it'll be really pretty. Like I said, it's basically like, you know, a runway lit up, right, for everybody to walk up to the front door. I ended up buying 24 of the lemon coral sedums, and I got them from Home Depot online, which I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they go through Proven Winners Direct to source it. So they come in packs of 4. So I just bought 6 packs of 4, and you can see the quality of it. You know, like some of them are gorgeous and thick and full, and then some of them are are not good at all. Not good at all. So that's okay. I mean, at least not all of them ended up looking like this. I'm still going to plant them and see. I think that they've just gotten too much water is kind of what's going on. So I'm still going to plant them and see, but you know, at least I got my hands on some of them. This year I had a really hard time getting Proven Winners annuals from local retailers around me. And I think that that's because of the new rule that they have where everybody has to grow in white pots. I have a feeling that, you know, that'll get better as time goes on and everybody gets used to the new rule. So, you know, it's kind of a pain, but I understand. I understand where Proven Winners is coming from. So yeah, so the one other thing I did want to say is I do have drip. I have this 1/4 inch tubing that does have emitters inside of it, and I think it's every 6 inches or every 12 inches. Oh, it looks like every 12 inches. And so I'm just going to plant one every 12 inches, and then, you know, they'll grow together and everything like that. But basically each lemon coral sedum has a drip emitter to it. And I don't know the rate. I think it's a little bit less than 1 gallon per hour. So like I said, lemon coral sedum can handle drought tolerant situations and heat situations, but it does better if it does get a little bit of water. And, you know, I think that my situation is the perfect example, because I think the lemon coral sedum right here, I think it had migrated over, you know, over to the walkway, and it just wasn't getting enough water, and that's why it died in my heat wave. That's okay. I will replace it and it will look beautiful. So let's get going. right, I am all done. It's looking great. It's so funny. I can tell the seasons are changing and it's getting later and later into the year because this is the normal time that I usually come out here to work in the garden. And I feel like for the past week, I've been complaining about the sun and complaining about shadows. And normally that's not an issue for me, but you know, the sun must be coming up later or not getting as high in the sky as it usually does, because I'm really noticing the difference. And then when I think about it, you know, I have to think that's so cool. That's so cool that I'm out in nature so often that I can even notice little things like that. And that's one of the reasons why I absolutely love gardening, because it gets you out into nature, it gets you out into the garden. Even though I live in the middle of the neighborhood, I can still notice the seasons changing. Anyway, so I've got all the lemon coral sedums in. I thought I wasn't going to have enough, but I actually had extra. So you can see I planted them about 12 inches apart, which I think will be fine. I think that they'll just touch because they grow to about 14 inches wide at their max point. So I think that that will be perfect. I kind of just added them in. I'm sorry about the shadows once again. I kind of just added them in all here. I skipped this whole area because I'm going to plan to leave this verbena here. This verbena lasts over the winter for me. It acts as a perennial for me in my zone. Then I brought it all the way up to here, and like I said, I stopped right there and then came all the way down here. So I had a couple extra. So actually, this is my daughter Shay's idea. She said that I should kind of start bringing it up along this walkway right here to encourage people to walk up there. So what I did is I kind of just dotted it along throughout here. Basically what I did is wherever I had weeds, I knew that there was enough water. So I kind of just dotted it along, and I'll kind of see how it grows. I'm not expecting it to fill the whole thing in, but I thought that maybe I could just like break off a piece and throw it in there, or, you know, when I find another one, I'll put it further up, and it will kind of be the same beacon of light to guide people up this way. So as they're coming up my front walk, you know, you can see it goes this way. And then as you're coming up, following the light of the lemon coral sedum, you can continue going that way, or it can take you up this way. And where does this go? And that's one of the reasons why I love this privet that I got for Mother's Day right there, is it kind of blocks off this path so you don't know what's around the corner. I mean, who knows? I could totally be, you know, making all this up, but this is the kind of stuff I think about when I'm in my garden, you know, just kind of to myself. I never listen to music or anything. I just kind of think when I'm in my garden, and that's the kind of stuff I was thinking today. So anyway, I think it turned out really well. This was an easy project. I always say it's an easy project when I don't have to do drip. I didn't have to do drip because it was already here, so it really only took me, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes. Not too bad. So if you're wondering if it's a little late in the season to be planting lemon coral sedum, we are actually about 9 or 10 weeks away from our first frost. So I feel like that these guys will root in, they'll be happy, and again, they are perennials in my zone, and they are evergreens in my zone, which is fantastic. They are hardy zone 7 through 11, so they're a wonderful perennial to have. And if you live below that, think of them as an annual, plant them early in the season, and enjoy them all summer long. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get into your garden today.